Hey guys, we're doing a Marvel Legends Buyer's Guide, and as you can see, we're going to be doing the Punisher. So we are going to be taking a look at every Punisher in the Marvel Legends line, starting from around the 2013-2014 era of the Legends line. So for the Toy Biz fans out there, unfortunately, I will not be including any of those Punishers. And to be even more specific, any Punisher that has the ball joint hips, you won't see in this video. Otherwise, we'll be looking at each Punisher in release order, as well as the accessories it comes with, how much you'll be able to find it for on eBay, and of course a little comparison of all of them against each other. So stick around and we'll get right into it. So first up, we have our Walgreens exclusive Punisher. So this is a 2016 release, and as you can see, he comes with the two guns that he's holding, this bazooka as well. And what's kind of neat is that I believe this bazooka is the only one that we actually get amongst these particular figures. I believe the same is true for this gun as well as this one right here. Now, this Punisher, I did get secondhand, so I think the colors might be a little bit off. It was a little bit stained, and I did my best to remove it. But as you can see, he does come with an alt head, and these two heads repeat a couple of times throughout the releases. This one is also the first of two that come with the torso strap that goes the whole way around, which is a neat piece. And I don't know if we have too many of these on other figures. I want to say that I think we have one on a Captain America, but not too many. I think it's a good mold overall. I think my only problem though is that the hands that he has are not even trigger fingers. These are just straight regular gripping hands on both sides. So that's kind of goofy considering it is the Punisher, but that's what you get. Also, no fists at all, and I believe it's no fists for most of our Punishers in this lineup. This Punisher will set you back about $40 to $70 on eBay, depending on if it's loose, complete, or in box. Next up, in 2017, this was part of the retro wave, and this is our Punisher from that set. So we again don't get a ton of accessories in terms of our hands, but at least this time around we do have some trigger fingers. So we got one here. As you can see, the fingers actually split, and we actually have one on this side too. So that's a nice little upgrade there. This bazooka cannon thing, I'm not even exactly sure what to call it. This one is the only one that we have in this lineup as well. We do see it again later on as part of the, I think, the AIM 2 pack, but the colors are slightly different. So this one has black paint on it, and the other one I believe is just fully silver. Now the head that you see here is the same as the previous head with a slightly different paint job. So the previous one has kind of a 5 o'clock shadow on him, and otherwise is basically the same head. And our alt head is also the same, with the difference being that the bandana is a different color. Now the white on the teeth on this one is much whiter. Like I said, this one might just be stained from the stain that was actually on there when I got the figure, but there you go. The bodies otherwise appear to be the same bodies, so I don't think there's a whole lot to worry about there. But as you can see, the whites are actually just a slightly different shade. I mean, both obviously are white, but as you can see, or maybe you can't, I'm not really sure, it's just a tiny bit different. Now, that is possible that's just a factory thing. It's possible that due to age, that could be a little bit different. But as many of you probably know, Hasbro, at least with the Legends line, tend to not release any figures, any characters of the same exact release. With a couple of exceptions, I believe Retro Moon Knight is actually an exact re-release of the original Moon Knight. And so this Punisher you'll be able to find on eBay for about $50. Next up, we have a fan channel release. This released in 2019. And this is a pretty unique Punisher in this entire lineup for a couple of different reasons. So first would be the gun. This is a unique gun in this lineup. The other would be pretty much everything else. So we have the camo pants, as well as the fact that they are like pants, like clothing, as opposed to kind of the traditional comic book uniform that he has. And then we've got the boots. The jacket is also a unique thing, which gives him these unique arms as well. Actually, I'm not even totally sure if we have this jacket arm combination on any other characters. We also get a bulletproof vest on him, which is actually really cool looking. And then our face is painted, which is also really cool and very unique. Now, I do believe that it is still technically the same head that we've had before. Pretty sure that's the case. It is a little hard for me to tell, at least due to the face paint, but the hair looks exactly the same. So that's why I'm feeling like this is probably the same exact head. And that's a really cool paint job. I do like that a lot. And I think a lot of people like that. Now, even though he does have these patches on the side, these don't come out at all. And the gun doesn't come out of the holster either, which is a bummer. And I hate when they do that on these figures, especially because, you know, he is the Punisher. Obviously, I understand why, like, the grenades don't come off, but, you know, they have had other characters that have holsters with the guns that can't come out. But that's not what we have here. And at least this time around, we do get a few more guns, which is cool. So we have this guy, which we do see in other figures as well. I believe at least one version of Deadpool came with this gun. And then we have our first handgun in the Punisher lineup. And then our bandanaed head is still the same head, just a slightly different paint job. And this one, you know, his eyes are a little bit darker, definitely not sleeping as much, and definitely way more beard than what we've seen previously. And this one will set you back about $45 plus on eBay, and that all just will change depending on accessories and all that kind of good stuff. You know, on these buyer's guides, I do like to try to give you current pricing that I find on eBay, and what I found really useful is an app called Legendsverse, because on Legendsverse, not only does it let you track your figures, but it also even shows you current pricing on eBay, and that's been really useful. And I did a comparison of my own tracking on eBay versus what I saw in Legendsverse, and it lined up pretty much perfectly, which is really amazing. Legendsverse is a great app that lets you track your figures, track your pre-orders, track custom figures that you've done, upload those photos for yourself. And I'm sure there's more features to come. I reached out to the owner of Legendsverse, and he very kindly provided a code for all of you guys to use. So if you're interested in checking it out, you can do that without paying anything at all. But if you find that you do like it, then check out that promo code and start tracking your figures. Let's move on to our War Machine. So this is a cool one. I like this one a lot. I think a lot of people like this one a lot, just because, you know, War Machine and Punisher, like, they're conceptually are really a good pairing. Now, this is a War Machine that we previously got in the Legends line. This is actually just a repaint, but it's a solid repaint. It's definitely really fun getting all of the like the marks of the Punisher logo indicating how many kills that he has. So we have it there and here, and then we have a 000 indicating that this is the first model of the War Machine Punisher armor. Now, he does have these guns on the arms, so this actually just comes right off like that. But I believe it's supposed to be attached, and then this part comes down like so, and he has the same thing on both sides. Besides that, he has this cannon right here, and this is a piece that just comes right off, and it just looks like that because the idea is that once he deploys it, that it looks like that, and that's super fun. This one is a melee weapon, so that's supposed to be just the handle, and it's the same idea where once it comes out, then it would turn into this one. And so he would hold that and use that as he sees fit. Besides that, he does actually come with a couple of extra hands. Interestingly, his two hands are gripping hands, and then he comes with fists. So this is our first Punisher in this lineup that comes with a pair of fists. Now, this War Machine Punisher, you'll be able to find anywhere from 25 to 50 bucks on eBay, depending on how complete he is. Next up, we have another mash-up version of the Punisher, and this is our Venomized Punisher. This one is really interesting because this is part of the Marvel Unlimited subscription kit, and subscribe because I am planning to do a whole buyer's guide on all of those too. Some of those are really, really hard to track down, but you'll see that later on. But this is interesting because this Venomized Punisher is not even an actual thing that happened in the comic books. The Marvel Unlimited subscription kit, they made a special cover of a Venom #1, which looked like that, and then they made this figure. So technically, it's unclear if this is actually supposed to be Eddie Brock with a Punisher logo or Frank Castle with the Venom symbiote. Either way, you're getting kind of both versions of the character, which is why we have him here. And he has more unique guns. So we've got this gun right here, which is this big old thing. And I don't know if we've had this in any other figures so far. And the same is true with this other one. So this one has these bullets that just come right out like that. You just put them back into there. And I don't think we have this with any other figures either. Now, the bummer part of this figure is that he also doesn't have proper trigger fingers. So he just has gripping hands. So you do need to be kind of careful with getting him in there, because it's going to look a little bit weird and might even fall out a little bit, kind of like that. Otherwise, having the Punisher logo lined up with the Venom symbiote spider is really cool. It's a great looking logo, and it would be nice to see more of that. And unfortunately, though, it's only on the front side. I kind of wish they would have done it on the back too, but you know, it's probably, I guess, just cheaper for them to do it this way. I do believe they did a sort of re-release where they like sold these at a San Diego Comic-Con or maybe a New York Comic-Con kind of thing. But otherwise, this officially originally came out as part of the Marvel Unlimited subscription kit. This one will set you back $70 to $100 on eBay. Next up, we have our Punisher on a motorcycle. And this is a cool one. I was really excited about this one for a variety of reasons. While the bike is cool, I really enjoyed how unique this Punisher is. So this one is very much unlike the other ones. So this is our first one with some bare arms, our second one with kind of like normal looking pants, our first one with a regular t-shirt, a very different Punisher logo here, and our first one with like just gloved hands, like fingerless gloved hands. Really neat. We also get pinless arms, although we still have pinned legs, so that's a weird combo, but that's what we got. But he's a bulky looking Punisher, which is kind of cool. As you can see, he's got a very unique head sculpt compared to everything that we've gotten before. And not only do we have that head sculpt, but we have a really beat up one too, and that's such a fun head to have because, you know, Punisher often takes a pretty massive beating, and so it's cool that we got such a beat up head like that. I like that a lot. Now, part of why I really was excited about getting this one is because this Punisher is actually from a particular storyline from War of the Realms, and if you're not familiar, it's a really cool comic, especially Punisher storyline, which I think would actually make a really cool movie where he has to help a bunch of people escape from like demons and ice giants while forcing prisoners to help them, and it's pretty cool. And so that's why we have this kind of Viking-like helmet. Also has this sawed-off shotgun, which is a great one, which I don't think we have anywhere else in the Legends line yet. He also comes with a machete, which I think comes up a few times in the Legends line. I want to say Jigsaw might even actually have one. I believe this is our first Marvel Legends baseball bat, so that's pretty fun. And we have a couple more guns that are unique, so we don't have these guns anywhere else in the Punisher lineup so far. But then obviously, you know, what you want to see is the bike. Now the bike is a pretty standard bike in the sense that I believe this is the same bike that we got for Ghost Rider, and I want to say it's pretty much the same as the one that we got for Wolverine, with the exception that this is all black. The other cool thing about the bike, though, is that we actually have a license plate that says Punish 616. And as far as I know, the 616 probably does represent that the Marvel comic universe is the 616. But if it's something else and you know it, let me know in the comments below. Otherwise, the neat detail that we have is the Punisher logo on the speedometer. That's a neat one. Motorcycle Punisher will set you back around $80. Now, before we get to the last figure, I do want to explain that I did not include the Cosmic Ghost Rider because I don't consider him a Punisher. I consider the rest of these Punisher. Cosmic Ghost Rider, I actually consider more Ghost Rider than I do Punisher. So that's why I didn't include him in this one. Although if you guys would be interested in seeing a buyer's guide for the Galactus Heralds, then let me know in the comments below. Otherwise, our newest Punisher is the Punisher from the Bushwacker 2-pack, and he's a great figure. I'm very happy with this figure so far. I know he doesn't have the kind of classic white and black costume, but the body is a really nice body. It's all pinless, which is really nice. It's one of the current new bodies that we have, and it's good. It's so nice. A very solid paint job. It's a nice matte. And what's interesting though is, you know, I talked about earlier how we don't always get the same colors, and this is kind of the same, right? Because even though they're both black, it's a slightly different black. I don't know how well that comes off, but our black over here on our Retro Punisher is much darker, and then our black on the Bushwacker one actually almost has kind of a slight silver sheen to it. Maybe it comes off as a little more matte than the other blacks in this lineup have. And it's cool. I like it. It's really nice. And that also kind of follows suit as well with the white. It's a slightly off white compared to the rest of the white Punisher logos on the rest of them. Now, as far as our weapons go, we do have this gun, which we did see previously with our Fanwave Punisher. We actually have the same guns that I just showed you on our motorcycle Punisher, but these are a different color. And just to show you the difference in colors, we have this one again is the Bushwacker one, and this is the previous one from the motorcycle one. This is our first Punisher that also comes with a grenade, and that's super neat. And it doesn't do anything else beyond this. It doesn't come off anymore. It's just as is. We also get this nice little explosion as if he had thrown the grenade and it exploded. And there's also the side arm. So he's got a gun right here that it actually does holster into here, and it's this one. So this is our second handgun that our Punishers have in this lineup. You can see it's the same mold as the other one, just a different color set. And this is our first real Punisher that comes with multiple extra hands. So he has a gripping hand and an open hand right here. He has a pair of fists, 2 fingers, sort of like he's pointing, right? And then we've got another trigger finger for the other side. So a nice set of hands. And he also comes with this alt head. I'm gonna say I'm not a huge fan of this alt head. Not that I don't understand the point of it. It's actually a great idea, but it's also a little ugly. But you know what? That also kind of makes sense, right? Because war is ugly, and the Punisher is at war. I will say though that this sculpt I really like a lot. I think it's such a good looking sculpt. It's a great version of the Punisher, and I really enjoy it. So it's that type with the bandana, but it's a whole new sculpt, and I think they did an amazing job with it. Between the sculpt and the paint details for the facial hair and the hair itself, I think it's a solid head. I like it a lot. And since this Punisher is retail as of this recording, I would say don't pay more than retail for him. So this is our oldest Punisher and our newest Punisher. And as you can see, they both have the same idea of the chest strap thing. So even though they're the same idea, they're very different molds. The one on our right is definitely a lot smaller, but we still have, you know, kind of the bullets, bandolier going across the chest, and our original having it on the backside as well. But on our newer one, it's just straps on the back. Including our retro one, these are the 3 Punishers that come with the like the full Punisher logo that's part of the belt. And our retro one is the only one that has the, you know, the kind of the classic all white as well. Our Venomized Punisher and our latest Punisher are interesting because, you know, this Venom is definitely bulkier than our Punishers pretty much across this lineup. But the height difference is pretty obvious too. So while it kind of doesn't matter because the Venom symbiote has shown to make people bigger and smaller, some people like the idea of it really just being, you know, just the costume the way it was for Spider-Man. So if you're looking at these two to kind of show progression of one into, you know, the Venom symbiote, this may not be the best, but I don't think it's that far off either. But adding our War Machine Punisher, you can see that the heights on those actually line up really well. And so, oh, we should do this too. And I know some of you guys are gonna be interested in doing this a lot. I just wanted to put that head on. Now, unfortunately, the original head has a smaller peg hole, so this doesn't actually fit on there properly, right? It's just kind of resting on there. But because of the height of the neck, I think that actually looks just fine too. So as long as he's just standing or not doing too dynamic of a pose, then I think the head will actually work out really well on this body. And that's going to be pretty much the same across the board. All of the heads have the larger peg hole size. Here's several of them. So that's good and bad. It's good in the sense that means that you can use whichever head that you prefer, and they will all basically fit, and they will all more or less look pretty good. I think my favorites are going to be the War Machine Punisher and our motorcycle Punisher. This one because of just how unique and different he is, but also the story that he comes from. And then the War Machine Punisher just because that's such a really good looking paint job. But I'd love to hear which ones that you guys like the best, and if you want to see another buyer's guide, then check that out over here.